my name is Kim. Thank you for taking just a few minutes to look at this and to learn a little bit more about Kim Vetter Photography. The reason I want to talk to you a little more in depth about timeline is if you are watching this, more than likely you're at the point where you have selected some photographers whose images that you like. Hopefully I'm one of those. And now you have maybe inquired with them like you have with me, and you've gotten some pricing information, some wedding collection package timelines, and the amount of coverage time, all that kind of stuff. So you're looking at budget now. Who should we talk to next? Who should we go further with? And I want to really talk to you about which package with Kim Vetter Photography could be a good fit for your day as you're making those decisions. A lot of my couples, actually most of my couples, come to me assuming they are going to need 8 to 10 hours of coverage. And 8 years ago, when I started my business, when I started covering weddings, I assumed the same. I would shoot every wedding 8 to 10 hours, come home with all of those images, and then go through to edit and tell the story of a bride and groom's wedding day. But as the years passed and as I started really looking at what I was doing and how I was doing it, I discovered that cutting some time off in the beginning, cutting some time off in the end, doing things differently could allow a bride and groom to have a shorter coverage time. And we're not just talking financially here. The main reason that I did this was for the bride and groom's enjoyment of their day, to spend less time taking pictures, which is a little less tiring in your day, and to just enjoy your day a little more and have your day be filled up with other things. So the 5 and 6 hour packages that I do are perfect for 90% of my couples. That being said, your wedding may have some specific reasons, some things that are very important to you that may be a little different from the average wedding day that might require more time. And I am more than happy to talk to you about that and provide that if needed. But the 5 and 6 hour packages are a really good fit. And people find themselves tired of taking pictures at the end of that, and at the end of the day saying, oh, this was perfect. We're so glad we didn't extend this any more time. And I can't really say if the 5 or 6 is more popular because every day is a little different. The different venues that I shoot, whether or not we're traveling between reception and ceremony, are we outside, inside? There's a lot of different factors that would say whether the 5 hour package or the 6 hour package are better. And that's something that we would talk about in a consult one-on-one. But I just want to talk you through what that covers and what that includes, even though it may sound short to you if you're just starting to look around. The packages that are a little shorter like that still cover everything. You're going to get some getting ready pictures. You're going to get your bridal portraits. You're going to get, of course, your pictures as a couple. You're going to get your family images. You're going to get your wedding party shots, your ceremony, your reception. Everything is included in the story of your day in that time period. And I'm going to throw some sample timelines up here for you in just a few minutes. But some of the things that I cut, I used to, if a bride requested some getting ready images, I wasn't thinking in the beginning of my career, what are they using these for? And, would be happy to provide an hour, 2 hours more of those kinds of pictures. But as I've worked with brides down through the years and kind of asked about their purpose for those images, most of the time it's because they want to put an album together or they want to put a little collage in their bedroom or something. But for an album, if I am in a getting ready room for about 15 minutes, right before you put your dress on, I'm going to get a shot of the dress. We're going to touch up the makeup, even act like we're fixing hair, throw the dress on. And in that little 15-minute block, which sounds crazy short, you can fill up like 6 pages in an album with images, which for the average bride, that's plenty for her purpose, what you're trying to do with those images. So instead of an hour or two at the beginning there, just a few minutes in that getting ready room can usually take care of whatever anyone's looking to get out of those. So there's a time where we can cut some time. Fast forward to the end, I also used to stay at receptions for a really long time and found that after a certain amount of time, those images became very repetitive. And a couple of different factors there. One, you were kind of getting the same images that you got an hour ago if I'm at a reception for like 3 hours or 4 hours. And two, your guests kind of get to a point where they are really tired of me coming to their table because as long as I am under contract with a couple, I'm going to shoot. I'm going to be out there. I'm going to be walking around a room. I'm going to be watching and shooting. And, after a couple of hours in a reception of guests having their pictures taken, it's not just about the images getting repetitive, but guests kind of get to the point where, oh, here she is again. So that's another reason that this time cut makes everybody happy. Okay, let's look at an exact timeline. I'm pulling my phone out. I'm going to throw you a slide up on the screen there so that you can follow along with me. All right, we're going to look at two timelines. One is with a first look, one is without a first look. This is totally personal preference to you. And again, in a one-on-one consult, we would talk more in depth about, what do you really want? And if you have questions about what is best with your venue and your day, I'm happy to answer them. Okay, so with a first look, we will look at first. This timeline is based on a sample 5 o'clock ceremony, just to show you how things play out. When I do a first look with a couple, I like to shoot for 2 hours. That covers everything, as you see here. We need to be done by 4:30 for a 5 o'clock ceremony. So the bulk of the shooting that you are seeing here is from 2:30 to 4:30. And you can look there in detail kind of how that is laid out to capture everything. Those 15 minutes of getting ready time tagged on at the beginning, that's up to you if you want that. We can always take that to the end instead. And then that little 30-minute slot between when we are done and when the ceremony starts, that's kind of different every time. If we didn't get any getting ready pictures and you wanted some because you were in a hurry and things went wrong, we could get them there. We could fake them. Or I can get guests arriving. Or I can walk around and get detail stuff. That little slot changes. After a ceremony, we still do large family photos, usually even if you've done a first look, because you may not have wanted every aunt, uncle, and cousin to come before the ceremony. So that's why you see that inserted in there. When you've done a first look, we quickly get into the reception. It's an hour here between time the ceremony starts and time we enter reception. It's generally a little shorter, but being conservative there. All right, so a 5-hour contract, I am in a reception almost every single time, a little over an hour. A 6-hour contract, I'm in that reception a little over 2 hours. And the reason I say this is such a good fit is at that point your guests have already been in there a little longer than you. And if they have come, if they've got a kid or they've got work the next day or they've got to travel a little bit after, or they're just an acquaintance, they're not a close family member, they're wanting to see you cut the cake, they're wanting to see the toast, they're wanting to see the first dance or any of the big important moments in a reception. So those should occur during the first hour or 2 hours anyway, depending on your reception. And we have, reception after reception, that 2-hour mark, we have comfortably moved past all that and we're into dancing, that sort of thing. And a lot of receptions based on your format, we've hit that mark at the 1 hour. Again, that's a one-on-one discussion. All right, let's go to the next timeline, which would be if you're not doing a first look. And these days it's really 50-50, so that's why I'm throwing both of these in here. Again, if you have a 5 o'clock ceremony, we want to be done by 4:30. I generally cut that down to an hour and a half if you're not doing first look. And you can see there the stuff we still want to cover prior to a ceremony. The rest of it kind of plays out exactly the same. That 5-hour contract being in there a little over an hour, 6-hour, and but you see that chunk of time after the ceremony is inserted now because there were so many we weren't able to get prior to the ceremony. So the only thing that changes there is that you have to be aware in your planning that your guests have been in your reception for quite a while when you go into the reception. So if anything, it just probably means that your reception is going to move even faster. Okay. That hopefully gives you a little bit of information to help make this next decision. I would love for you to contact me and want to meet me for a consult. I meet a lot of brides at Panera, Starbucks, something like that on a weeknight or during the weekend when I'm not shooting a wedding. And we talk in extreme detail about your day. I will tell you exactly how I work. Talk to you and find out exactly what you're looking for to see if we would be a good fit together. So shoot me a message if you have time to meet up and talk more in detail. I hope this has helped. Thank you again for your time.